What a beautiful night, folks. It's Reef DVMs here. I'm coming at you from the homestead out on the farm. Tonight we are looking at the driveway edge there from behind me, and we're out mowing for the first time of the season, and we're going to go break in some new electric tools. Hardly believe I'm saying that, but that's the truth of it. We're going to break in some new electric tools. So we're going to fire them up, and I'm going to try and compare them to some of my gas tools in the next few videos, and try to give my honest opinion on them as we use them around the place. We've got a couple acres of lawn here to mow tonight. We're going to get on it. Thanks for watching, folks. So inside the shop, I've got these AP 300S batteries and a battery charger from Stihl. And here's a look at the actual electric trimmer that we got. I was really kind of against going to electric trimmers because of past experiences with them in the last decade being very low on power and duration, and having to hang them on a charger on the wall, which I found was a pain in the butt, and then having to rehang them when you ran out of power. But the FSA 90R here is kind of their more commercial line of trimmers that Stihl has. And, you know, my old steadfast, steady, 140 John Deere weed whacker is finally starting to die engine-wise after almost 15 years of use. So I thought maybe it was time to try something better, and my local equipment dealer told me that these Stihl with these AP 300S batteries, they're interchangeable between about 6 or 7 devices, and they work really well for me. He said I could buy a couple batteries and a charger, and I could just swap out the batteries when one gets low, and then they'd give me plenty of time and plenty of power to work with. So I really wanted to see if that was the case. So I told him to send me the stuff, because again, if I'm going to buy one unit that uses a battery, I might as well try several. I put it on the scale. It weighed, with battery, 11.6. Just for comparison, it's 13.2, the weight of my John Deere. But the funny thing about these trimmers is my John Deere here is actually heavier on the back end of it where the motor is, and the Stihl is more balanced throughout. Obviously the Stihl feels heavy in the front when you don't have the battery in it, but when you have the battery in it, it's pretty balanced throughout, versus my other one was much more, I would say, more butt heavy, but not heavy enough that I couldn't do it. As you see, firing up a gas weed whacker takes a little bit of pull and strength. That is definitely a downside to the gas. The younger kids on the farm have a harder time starting it. I have to start it for them. The other thing it's a downside is, you know how it is, you got to be over 16 to pump gas in Minnesota, so I have to go get the gas for it, and in most cases I buy canned fuel for it that's already pre-mixed because it doesn't have ethanol in it. It keeps the equipment running longer. But again, I still have to go buy that expensive fuel, and that adds up too. Not that electricity doesn't add up though also. When people get these electric devices, forget that they're paying an electric bill to plug and charge the batteries. One of the reasons I was so in love with my gas equipment is I just like the torquiness and the quickness of them. Little 2 strokes, and obviously the 4-stroke is a little slower on that, but the 2-stroke ones are just such a blast to have, and they're so powerful. And for a guy who likes a gas engine, they've just been great over the years. But they do have maintenance. They do require oil. They do require fuel. They do require you to occasionally change out a spark plug and keep them up to speed. These guys, there's really little to them. It's just a safety trigger, a dial, so you can actually make it go slower and faster regardless of how you pull the trigger, and basically a lock for on or off. It's kind of an interesting little beast. It's very, very quiet. That's kind of a nice thing. I don't need to wear any hearing protection, and my daughters can easily start and run this, which is fantastic on the farm. It's very easy for them to pull the battery out of a charger and go. So it's about 7 o'clock here, and we're gonna start trimming with this thing, and we're just gonna really kind of put this thing to the test. We're gonna trim a lot of regular lawn, which is what this is right here, and we're gonna see how it does. We're also gonna go out and trim some thicker edge stuff along the fence line, and I'm really kind of interested to see if it can take 30 minutes of sheer kind of open full throttle weed whacking. So I've got it turned all the way up. Again, we're starting here about 7 o'clock, and I'm just gonna go trim here on the farmstead and just go around and trim as many things as I can. I'm even gonna let my daughter take a whack at it, because again, she does a lot of trimming. She always has a hard time starting the gas version, so the positive here is just put a battery in it and pull the trigger. The head on it seems very nice. The shield on it is typical of all shields. It'll probably look green in about 6 months instead of this beautiful blaze orange. It does come with a strap, so you can put it over your neck or your shoulder and help hold the weight of the machine up. I don't find the machine that heavy at all once I actually started comparing it to my other one and started using it. Here my daughter's out using it. She's 14. She's quite capable of trimming. It's kind of nice for her because she doesn't have to use it wide open. She can use that thumb dial and just kind of dial it down. Now the gas one you could run a little slower too, but it was all kind of in the feather of the trigger. And then here I'm just gonna whack some fence line with it. As you can see as I go along the fence line, it's just a thicker Bermuda grass up here that we've got. But then we get into some heavy weeds, and I'm actually quite impressed. This thing took it down pretty good, especially when you get this thick cabbage weed up here. As I start hitting this thick cabbage weed, it'll bog down even a gas trimmer if you're not careful. This stuff is just beastie on its stems and its bases, and a lot of times, if you don't have a lot of weed whip out, you just can't whack away at it. But this stuff is probably about a foot tall, maybe a foot and a half, and this thing is just obliterating it. Now it does have the Stihl line in it, which is a nice special line for the trimmer. You can put any line you want in these. It says you can, but it recommends obviously the Stihl. And I find the Stihl line is very, very, very good line. I've just overall, using this today, I'm edging around some brick here. I was quite impressed with its longevity, power, and its speed. I like that it was balanced. And again, I like that I've got 2 batteries, 1 charger, and I'm going to be able to run a bunch of equipment on it, which means that I don't have a battery like I have a grease gun with a special battery for it. That's all I can use it. I don't like that. I typically buy all DeWalt stuff so that I can use the same batteries in all the tools. And that's what's nice about this. I'm going to get a bunch of electric tools, try them out, and get my thoughts and opinions on them, and see if they'll work for my daughters and my family on the farm. And I got this one AP 300S battery. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 2 lights on it here on it. And we're finishing up, and it's 7:36. So I went 36 minutes at full power pretty much with this thing, and it did fantastic. Well, everybody, final thoughts on electric weed trimmer here from RMSpeltz Farms. All I can say is I'm impressed on this one. My old John Deere here is wearing out. The XT 140, what a nice machine that's been. I might beat it up till it actually blows up, but whatever. It's starting to smoke a little, and she doesn't have the power she used to, but she's been a really good trimmer for me. So, but there's just way too many advantages, as you've seen in the video, folks. As I kind of voiced over my trimming experience, and certainly put one of my 14-year-old daughters on it. There are advantages. There just are. I still love my gas. I still love my gas tools. But there's going to be some more electric tools on the farm. It makes it easier for people to use them, especially when they don't have to worry about trying to pull start them and have to make sure that there's fuel and fuel with oil in them. So, even though I use a lot of canned fuel that already has the oil in it to make it easier for them, sometimes starting these things is just hard. Sometimes they're heavy, and the electric just gives them a little bit of a different advantage there, and I appreciate that. Again, not trying to bash these old tools like this. It's been a fantastic trimmer. I've absolutely loved it. But on the farm here, I can tell you that this Stihl electric stuff is pretty impressive. Thank you for watching, folks. Please like and subscribe, and we'll keep putting out great videos on our homestead here. Thank you.